Mark with Mark's Dodgers Cards. That was a little video from the celebration last night after the Dodgers win. Got to go to the game with wife and kids, and it was a blast. Dodgers are just on a roll. There were 3 home runs, lots of offense. It was Roki Sasaki's debut, and he was very shaky control-wise. They took him out in the second inning, and the Dodgers were down 2-1, and the relief pitching held, and the offense kicked in. And it was a really good time. We had a great time, as you can see from that video. Yesterday was a big day, very busy, lots of activity. Went to not only the Dodger game at night, but during the day, went to the Front Row Card Show in Pasadena. I had been warned about this card show, both by the review on 4 Collectors of the Portland show, saying that it was mostly Pokemon, and also by Rick Acosta, a Dodger card collector, who said that there's probably like 5 or 6 or maybe 7 vintage dealers, and that was accurate. It was kind of more like a Pokemon show, with a few with some sports card dealers and even a smaller number of vintage dealers mixed in. I counted 6 vintage dealers that were focusing on vintage. There were other people who had, like a smattering of vintage cards. So, it wasn't a lot of selection, but there was some things to be found, even among those tables. Some of the prices were super high. For example, this one guy who was selling sports cards, mostly modern, had Jackie Robinson 1953 in an SGC2. That's a card I've been eyeing, but his price, he had it priced at like, I think $1,400 or $1,200 or something like that. Some really, really high price that was way off of what the market is. Anyway, a bunch of stuff like that. I took a look at it, found out the price, and didn't bother trying to do anything with that because it was just so high. It was super crowded. The folks who did the review of Portland mentioned this. I thought maybe in LA they would, or in Pasadena, part of LA County, that they would, have it in a more reasonable space, but it was super packed in. Here's a little, I didn't take much show footage, but I did take a little clip of the crowd. So here's a shot of that. All right, so you can see it was very crowded, really hard to get around, but was able to see. I saw the entire show in an hour. I was in there and out of there in an hour. I did buy the VIP pass, which allowed me to bypass the line. There was a massive line outside, and it's only $5 more, so recommend if you're gonna go, get that VIP pass so you can bypass massive lines. All right, here are the vintage dealers. I didn't write down the names of them, but there was one guy who, he really had super high prices. I tried to look at a T207, like a common, and fairly low grade. I think it was like a 3, which isn't terrible, but he wanted $350 for it, was his price on sticker price, which is just, I thought, really high. There was one guy who had just a small amount of vintage, but I kind of categorized him in the vintage dealer. He had a really nice Campanella rookie, but again, it was like priced like really high and wasn't really interested in something at that price point. There was one dealer that had a lot of Venezuela cards. He actually had a complete 1966 Venezuelan set, which was pretty amazing. A bunch of 1968 Venezuelans, but he didn't have any Dodgers in those singles, so there was nothing for me there. He also had a lot of Japanese cards, which was pretty cool. There was one dealer that had loads of graded cards from like the 70s, and a bunch in the 60s too. A bunch of loose singles. The singles were priced kind of high, but he had a really cool display, and if I was interested in graded cards from the 70s, I might have bought some things from him, but I don't need any of those right now. And then there was this one guy who did have reasonable prices, and I almost got this thing from him. He had this really cool item. It was a ticket and a Japanese program from 1966, from when the Dodgers went to Japan to play there. The ticket was really cool, it was in great shape. The program was kind of beat up a little bit, but the inside looked good. There were some pretty cool pictures of Koufax and Drysdale and the rest of the Dodgers. And anyway, I almost got it, but I felt like, well, you know, I don't really need that in my collection right now, even though it was like super cool. So I passed on that, but he let me look at it and was really nice about it, even though he was really busy. And that was really cool. And then there was the last one I went to, which I did. I ended up spending $75. And I went to this one dealer. He was from Las Vegas. He didn't want to be on camera or anything like that, but he had some binders where you could go through and get, like, you know, singles from 70s and 60s, maybe a little 50s, and they had like kind of rows of boxes that had sort of better cards from those years. And then he also had display cases that had some graded cards. The card that caught my eye was this 1962, and I'll turn the camera on in a second, 1962 Bell Brand Don Drysdale, which I don't have any Bell Brand cards. These are a potato chip company. And anyway, I took a look at that, and then he pointed out that he had a couple other Bell Brand cards in the singles. So I did get a few cards from the Bell Brand 1962 Dodgers. I also got one other card, which was a single. It's like a 50-cent card, a common card. I'm not going to show that on this video. I'm going to save that for another one because it relates to a kind of a bigger project I'm working on, but we'll just put that aside. I did, the sticker prices on these cards, which I'll show in a second, were 60, 15, and 10. So that adds up to $85, and I offered him $75 and he accepted. I'm not sure if that's really a great deal or not. I'm not super familiar with this set. I did a little bit of research, but kind of hard to tell for me. I think I may have been a little high, but I think the cards all look great. They're pretty much in like VG to VGEX condition, I would say. And anyway, pretty happy with them. So I'll turn the camera around now and show you what I got. All right, here's the first one. This is a Don Drysdale card. Sort of inspired by a couple of channels to go into these. One was Dave at Legends of the Dugout, who did a run of his Don Drysdale cards. I recently did a run of my cards too, which I'll put in the link below, and also I'll link to Dave's video. He had a bunch of oddball cards, including, I think, this one. And I thought, you know what, I need to have more of these kind of different kind of cards of Don Drysdale since I have his entire Topps run. So that kind of helped draw me to it. And also Aaron at Value Vintage shows a lot of these kind of different kind of cards. And yeah, I just been delving into these kind of things more. So anyway, this is the Don Drysdale. You can see registration, color is really good. The corners are kind of soft, but I think it's a pretty nice 3. I don't see any creasing on it. And then here's what the backs look like. You can see there's some staining, probably from potato chips, because this was, these came in bags of potato chips. So it kind of goes in through to the front too over here. But anyway, that's the Don Drysdale. And then I picked up Charlie Neal, similar condition. And here's the back. And the last one I picked up was Johnny Padres. The corners are a little soft, but this is definitely like a very good condition at least. So yeah, nice image, nice clean image. Good color on all these. And again, there's the back. So those are my pickups from the card show, Front Row Card Show in Pasadena. All right, thanks for watching.